Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a look at some exclusive gameplay footage that was released by Giant Software of the gameplay for Farming Summer 25 from Gamescom, which happened over in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. But Gamescom is a huge event. A lot of people got the chance to play the preview version of the game there. Hopefully some more. Hopefully I'll have some exclusive footage of my own of me playing the game for you guys shortly. But enough said about that. If you guys have not pre-ordered the game, it comes out November 12th. Please use the codes in the, the links in the description to pre-order that. It does go to help support the channel at no additional cost to you. So make sure you guys check all of that out. But yeah, or use code FarmerCop at checkout. And if you don't know what version of the game to buy, I have a video out on that down below in the description as well. A link to that. That'll kind of walk you through that process. But without further ado, let's talk about some of this gameplay footage. First off, I want to also mention DJ did a video, well, actually a live stream of some other footage. It shows off some of the same stuff, but there's a lot more to DJ's footage. DJ got that footage from Endplay, which is a big German YouTuber that does Farming Simulator. So I wanted to send you guys over to DJ if you wanted to take a look at some more stuff as well. There's about an hour or so video out on that. But yeah, and if you wanted just a quick overview of some of the stuff, we'll take a look at it here. And if you wanted more details, we'll take a look. And by the way, you've been seeing the gameplay trailer, which was recently released on your screen now. But let's go ahead and hop into taking a look at this very specific footage that has come out from GameCon, released by Giant Software. You'll see some of it up on your screen. I will pause it and stuff like that. So you'll see a slightly zoomed in version, but pretty much all of it's there. So yeah, and you'll hear the audio as well. We have a Valtteri here to start off. And I might not be talking for the entire time. I might let some of it just kind of play and run out. So we're going to let this drive. I've got some notes too to make sure I mention some things to you guys as well. Beautiful fog, and you can't turn the fog off, is my understanding as well. So just mentally prepare yourself for that. Yeah, just mentally prepare yourself for that. Driving along the river there. Honestly, the map looks gorgeous, and the game looks really crisp and really good. And off on the left-hand side, you can kind of see a barge going under that bridge there. We kind of assumed the barges would move from previous screenshots, but we haven't really, I don't think, seen it in action yet. Maybe we have, but anyhow, you'll notice the barge is slowly moving towards us over there on that side. So it's going to be doing its thing and moving around. But yeah, you can see it going to the bridge there. Valtteri comes on the top, and this is a total of, I think it's about 10-minute video that I have. So that's about, just to give you guys a perspective on how long it is. And I will pause at certain times just to show you guys some different stuff that's happening. So just be prepared for that as well. But you can get a really good look at the UI and everything like that, which is pretty cool to see all that. Here we have a look at the rice greenhouse. They don't go into the production menu I was hoping, but you can see even like that one tile is like cracked. So like, there's just like a lot of good detail to this stuff. So it just looks good. They did a really good job with it, I think. So, but yeah, this is where you're going to grow your rice saplings in a greenhouse if you want to. You also can buy them in the store. And here we have this Fent that's going to pick them up. There's 24 units in there, not 24 total. Obviously, there's a lot of saplings in there, but 24 units of saplings. And you can also see actually cotton there in the background. I don't know if we've seen cotton in any other videos. And you get another look at like the corn texture here. So a lot of the crop textures, it's cool to see those. And you can see a lot of detail going on for those. And on the left-hand side, you can see a pump there. That's one of the floodable fields there. So we're going to drive around that here in a second and head over towards the rice planter, which is pretty cool. So we'll see that here. You can see it kind of off to the side there. You can see the sunlight in the background as it's 6:30 in the morning. And I think that they do that on purpose. Oh, sorry, my video kind of cut out there for a second. So hopefully it doesn't do that too much. It's done that a couple times. But the video they sent over was smooth. It's just my computer sometimes had some issues or whatever for some reason. But there we go. We're now on the rice planter there. And you can see it does solid fertilizer as well. There's not any in the machine right now, but you can see that you can do some solid fertilizing with it as well if you want to, which is pretty cool actually. But yeah, and another thing I want to note too, as well as we're going through this, you can see up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see a lot of the control group and stuff like that. So make sure not only are you watching like the center of the screen, like take a look around at the rest of the stuff going on as well and take a moment to do that. Obviously, all this stuff is subject to change. It's an exclusive preview and everything like that. But you see a lot of really good detail here as well. So just make sure you guys are paying attention to kind of all that. And we are doing this at 6:30 in the morning in the game, which is why the sun is where it's at and the fog is as bad as it is. So it's not always going to be this foggy. If you're doing stuff midday, it's going to be much clearer, much crisper, and kind of easier to see what you're doing. But I do love that little rice planter. It's such a cool little machine by Iseki there. There he goes. Hits the end of the field and then jumps over to the rice harvester here, which is pretty cool. Now at the bottom right-hand corner, it does say inactive down there. That is the GPS icon. So even stuff like this thing here should have GPS with it if you want to use it. But GPS is different than the AI workers. That's one of the big questions I get. The AI workers, you hit higher and they will scan the field and they'll do it themselves. GPS will help you stay in a line and help you make the turns to make sure you're not missing anything on the field, but you are still actively driving and in the vehicle and doing all that sort of stuff. But we do get a really good look all around of the Iseki rice harvester here, which is this is the wet rice, not the long grain rice. But you can see the yield's not terribly high. Given we're doing a very small swath, so we didn't get a ton, but yeah, the yield's not super high. They're putting out the pipe now to unload, and of course it's going to unload, I mean, very rapidly. There's not a whole lot in there, but we get a look at it going in the trailer there, which is pretty cool to see that. And now we're over here harvesting long grain rice with the John Deere, and the GPS is active. You can see down there in the bottom right hand corner, which is cool to see that. So, and you can see the line on the field, so you can see where it's going on the GPS and everything like that. And it's all working out the way it should be. And everything just kind of makes sense, but it looks really cool and really crisp while it's doing it. You can see the big John Deere in the background, the tractor there, and the grain cart, which is by J&M, which we're going to have a closer look at that here in a second as we go through the video. But you can see we're getting a decent yield off the field. We're getting quite a bit, it seems, so that's always good. I don't know, again, the difference between long grain rice and like the regular rice or the wet rice in terms of like pricing and value and all that. We'll have to do some test videos when we get a greater look at this. So there we go, bringing over the J&M grain cart, which looks great. I mean, everything just looks really good, really highly detailed. Put the pipe away, fold the pipe down there. You can see the pump on the edge of the field there too, just a second ago. Now you can see it there on the right hand side, where they can flood the fields and do all that sort of stuff. I really like the UI too. I just think it looks nicer than FS22. I just think it looks nice. It looks cleaner, I think, and a little bit more organized. I like that the fill types are above now too and not off to the left hand side. But moving on, here we are harvesting spinach, and you could see a second ago we had oh, that was really okay. That's actually, I'm going to back it up just a touch here to show you guys something that we make sure we didn't miss there. So if we go back a little further, go right here, just because it'll switch it here in a second. Okay, so right now down there bottom right hand corner, it says active for GPS. We also get a look at the spinach as well, the icon for that. We can see we have a lot of spinach in this thing. It looks like this thing's probably going to hold like 30 some odd thousand liters, maybe about 30,000 actually. It's probably more accurate. Probably about 30,000 liters of spinach, which is quite high. But you can see that the GPS even works on this harvester, which is nice. We didn't know that or not before, but nothing too crazy. I would have assumed that. But they're going to stop it, and then boom. I don't think they stopped it, actually. If you look down the bottom right-hand corner, it says AI worker. I think they hired a worker, and so it's pausing because it's trying to think, and that's why it's flashing, I believe. And then they unhired him to make it inactive. So they didn't want to show us too much about the AI worker there, but you could see that down there in the bottom right-hand corner, you have a look at what's going on to be able to see the difference. So, and now we're going to come over here and we're going to go ahead and unload this, which is pretty great. So we get all this, some of the spinach out there. And again, a lot of this stuff we've seen aspects of it, so there's not really any crazy new things here that we're seeing. But we are getting a look at some more detail on some of it, which is pretty cool to see regardless. Yeah, they're going to download this. And the next thing we're going to take a look at is here we have the swather. And you can see GPS is inactive down there bottom right-hand corner. It says steering assist. Steering assist, interesting. I don't know what that one meant down there. But you can see there they activated GPS and it went back over to the line. And now is swathing on the GPS line, which is pretty sweet. And it's doing its thing. That's part of the Macdon pack, which is part of the pre-order bonus if you order Farming Simulator 25 early, which again, you can use the links down below in the description to support the channel. And I would appreciate that. It does definitely help, so definitely appreciate that. And actually, one of the things that stood out to me the most is coming up in this next clip here, quite honestly. And I'll explain why it kind of stood out to me the most. But we'll see a little bit more of this. I want to make sure you guys see everything so you guys know there's nothing I'm holding back or anything like that. But here's a clip where it's interesting to me. Something here stood out really well to me. We're getting ready to take a look at the, oh gosh, I can't remember the brand, the N branded cedar here, one of the new ones we just took a look at. We have a great look at a Massey Ferguson 9S in front of us here, which is a brand spanking new Massey Ferguson. Looks beautiful. But down in the bottom right-hand corner, if you look there, it says wheat. Okay, that's the seeds we're planting. That makes sense. And then it says solid fertilizer. Okay, nothing crazy there. We're planting something. So, yeah, that makes sense. Some cedars have fertilizer, some don't. This one does. So that's not the big news. But if you look at it, as this does this entire row, that fertilizer does not go down at all. Now, I guess theoretically, there's a chance that it just doesn't go down because it doesn't use that much. But we do an entire row of seeding, and there's no way that's not going to go down at least a little bit. So part of that, you can see steering assist down there. Then we have GPS active now. So what I think is, I'm going to talk a little bit about this because I think this is pretty cool. So when thinking about the solid fertilizer, if you think about Farming Simulator 22, we have to, if we have solid fertilizer in the seeder, it's going to apply it or use it anyways, regardless of whether we want it to or not, even if the field is already fertilized. So this could mean one of two things. One, it could mean that if you could turn the feature off, so you can disable it on your seeder, which would be super cool, and I hope that's what the feature is. The other thing, which wouldn't be as cool, but still would be cool, is if it doesn't need fertilizer, it won't put it down. Or if it can't put down fertilizer because it already got fertilizer, whatever the case may be, it doesn't put down more fertilizer to waste your fertilizer. So regardless, it's not putting any fertilizer down right now, even though it's still in the seeder. Now, there's been mods and stuff to kind of make it so you can turn that on and off, but never in base game. And again, all the stuff that's in base game is going to be for all platforms, so consoles included. Old gen consoles, again, are not included on that. But yeah, as we go forward here, we only have a couple minutes left of the video. I want you guys to pay attention to the tracks on the seeder are super cool, by the way. But in addition to that, you can see some of the ground deformation here, and we'll get a better look at that. But you can see how it's kind of deforming the ground a little bit as it's driving over it. The tractor is definitely doing that. So pretty cool to see that. I'll let it kind of play here for us for a bit. Honk there. Great. Hear a little honk. Or no, that actually was the GPS sound. I bet that wasn't a honk. That was a GPS sound. And here we have the Cinnaboggan, which all the cabs on those will go up and down. That's just how they're designed, so you can do that, which is pretty cool. Now they're carrying a bale, which is 8,000 liters in the bale there of hay. Let's move it over to take care of the baby cows. So we get a good look at some baby cows here. And you can see the really young ones struggle to walk. Like you can see some of that, and you'll see that here. So pay attention to the really young ones. That's intentional. They're trying to reflect the different life stages of the cows and being able to walk. Or you can see some of the kind of the more adolescent ones that aren't like babies. They're able to walk a little bit better and trot around, and they run sometimes and do the different things. But you basically have almost 3 stages if I pause it here. So right in the center of the screen, you can see that cursor, that kind of like little, that little circle. Just up above that cursor, just a little bit to the right, is one of the very, very small babies. And then if we go to the right of that, not in the very back by the fence, but if we go to the right of that, we have kind of a little bit bigger cow. And then if we go further to the right, not the one laying down, but the one over by the fence there, is running a little bit better. So that's almost 3 stages of baby cows there. And we know none of those are the adults because on the far left-hand side, you can see a massive bull, it looks like, over there, which is going to be one of the adult cows. But you can see, oh, maybe that one over there in the back is having a little bit of issues running. But I think I'm counting, we have the one that ran a little bit better there as well. I think I counted several different phases there. I think I counted at least 4 different stages of growth, which is pretty cool. Not just baby cows and then they're adults. They don't just phase up. They have, they slowly grow up, which is kind of cool. And here we get a really cool look at ground deformation there. You can see that the GPS is ready. Now it's active. I'm turning the seeder on. This is a sugar beet planter here. I believe it only does sugar beets. I could be wrong about that. It's a Grimmy seeder that we haven't had before in the game. One thing you can note here is that as you drive over the ground there at the bottom with a new, like a seeder or a plow or something, it destroys the ground deformation. It doesn't exist anymore. You've now put a new texture over it. That's just the way it is with how it had to be programmed in. Maybe we'll see some more advancements to that in the future. But that's what we got. And then finally, we're going to move on here to the tornado. So this is a very quick clip. This is literally 10 seconds of the video, and the video's over. So just pay attention to a couple things here, and I want to note a couple things. So First off, the tornado looks really cool. You can see the rain looks really realistic. The crops look like they're wet, and the grass looks like it's wet. So like there's like reflections off of that. Overall, it looks really crisp and clean. And another thing, you'll see this in DJ's video if you watch it, the tornado, you can turn on and off, by the way. You should be able to turn that feature on and off. But the tornado will move at a specific rate of speed. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, right next to the money, it says 1. That means we're at 1 times speed. If you speed the time up, the tornado moves faster. So the tornado is not tied to real time. It's tied to in-game time. So if you want to get rid of it or speed up its destruction and what it's going through, you can speed up the time to 120 or 360 or whatever the game will have available to you. And the tornado will just cruise across the land and get out of the way. And it's pretty cool to see. So that's why I, again, recommend watching DJ's video on that, where he's breaking down some footage sent over to him by Endplay. So there we go. We're going to keep going. I'm just going to let it play out. Oop, of course it did that. It kind of just was like a little bit rough there. I'm going to go back a little bit here. We'll see it here in a second. There we go. Just let it play out. Hopefully nice and smooth this time. Yeah, that was much smoother. But yeah, it's cool. We didn't get a lot. And then that is the end of the clip right there. That's pretty much what we have. So yeah, that's what I've got for you guys. Just a little bit more detail, a little bit more information about Farming Simulator 25 and another kind of, just kind of some different looks at it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.